You might be surprised to hear this, but I went to a public school, not a private one. Shocker, I know. But it is interesting to see that these rich kids were as clueless as we were when it comes to dating. Like it or not, this is a learned skill, and we all should go to private school. Still digging that new music courtesy of punk legend Gina Volpe. If you haven't yet, you should check out her stuff. Tell her I sent you. So, welcome to Exploitation Reviews, and me, Rob, and today I'm taking a look at Private School from 1983. This is a follow-up project to Private Lessons, which I talked about a little while ago. It's not a sequel or anything, it's just the same creative team, and it's kind of too bad this movie wasn't more successful. I'm sure they could have continued this Private series, and I'm sure I would have loved Private Beach. Here in Private School, unlike the previous Private Lessons that had this gross story of a much older woman seducing an underage boy, everyone in this movie is a teenager, and there's nothing gross about that, so let's check them out. Let's check the movie out. We open, unsurprisingly, at a school, and almost immediately we get a funny song that plays over the credits. You're breaking my heart, you're tearing it apart, so awesome. Sylvia Kristel as the sex teacher, yeah, I guess she'd be a good one to teach that. She definitely taught that boy in Private Lessons hands on. After the credits, we hop over to a dormitory. Various girls walk around in various states of undress. Outside, some boys are trying to get a peek. Inside, Phoebe Cates is reading erotic literature to her roommate.
Her longing swelled from deep inside her.
Girls are weird. My longing swells on the outside.
I think he's got a point.
The boys manage to snap a few Polaroids of this girl in the shower. This movie is off to a good start. Sometime later, the boys go to a school dance, and one of the boys, by the way, is a very young Matthew Modine. He's had a steady career for decades. These days, he might be most recognizable as Eleven's evil papa in Stranger Things. Here, he's dating Phoebe Cates, and she tells him that she wants to try out some of that stuff that she read about in that book.
Would it be like that? Like in that book, I mean.
Oh, no, of course not.
It wouldn't?
No, I mean, it would be. It would be just exactly like the book.
The kids dance and play grab ass, and the boys, rise to the occasion. The shower girl from earlier says she wants to date Phoebe's boy, and she's got a plan. That's Betsy Russell, by the way. You might recognize her from the Saw series. Here, she'll be our main antagonist, trying to steal away Matthew Modine. During the dance, one of the couples retires to the headmistress's office.
I have to warn you, I like a lot of, foreplay.
Is that enough?
I guess so.
Yeah, when you're 17, that's enough. When you get to be 47 like me, it's more than enough.
Oh, sure.
The next day, Betsy Russell starts to put her plan into action, which involves riding a horse without a bra on and with her shirt wide open. So her plan is the best plan ever. Unfortunately for her, Phoebe is a sure thing. She's already rented a hotel room for the big event. It's like the old saying goes, a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. And since this is the 80s, that second part is literal. The Betsy-Phoebe beef continues, some of the pranks result in nudity, and the punishment for these pranks eventually leads to the girls being banned from off-campus activities. That might put a damper on the hotel plans. The boys, meanwhile, are becoming bolder in their attempts to see some co-ed skin, and they don some drag and infiltrate the girls' dormitory. Does every teen comedy in the 80s have boys in drag? Maybe. Here, though, unlike Screwballs, the girls see right through their disguises and don't mind. Bubba finds his way into the showers. Can't show you much of that, of course.
Man, I just work here.
But of course, we don't have to stay here. You can now support the channel on Patreon for just $1 a month. Upgrade to $3 and get access to uncensored versions of my reviews. But I will say that I have seen hundreds of shower scenes, and this one is pretty good. Upstairs, Betsy teases Matthew Modine and sets him up pretty well.
You tricked me into taking my clothes off just so you
you could see me naked!
Chris.
That will definitely put a damper on the hotel plans. So there will be some more shenanigans, and our loving couple may or may not bang out their differences by the end of the movie, and that's enough out of me as far as plot goes. Let's talk some highlights. Well, this is a teen sex comedy from the 80s, and how well it succeeds depends a whole lot on how well it delivers the sexy and the funny. On the sexiness side, the film does very well. We've got hot as hell Betsy Russell birthday suiting more than once. We've got lots of silky pajamas and a very well-populated shower scene that goes on for longer than you'd expect. And nearly as long as you need. And we've got 80s goddess Phoebe Cates looking stunning in every scene. She doesn't reveal as much here as she did in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. In fact, sharp-eyed viewers might notice that during her nude scene she has some tape covering her bits and bobs. But the scene here isn't merely coming out of a pool, it's enjoying the company of a gentleman caller, so it's understandable, really. And on the comedy side, there are some really funny scenes here. Even though not as many as we might like. And for me at least, a lot of the jokes don't really work. Your mileage may vary. So it does well with the sexy and middling with the comedy. Not bad, I guess. Better than average for a movie like this. And beyond all that, there's also some decent music here. I already mentioned the funny track over the credits, but later we'll even get things like Little Red Riding Hood by garage rock band Sam the Sham and the Pharaohs. Pretty cool. But despite the copious amounts of co-ed jiggle, some good music, and the occasional funny joke, the movie's not perfect. Like a boy turning his skirt into a tent, this film has some shortcomings. Well, I've already mentioned most of them. I wish this film were a bit funnier and a bit more original. It really is a paint-by-numbers teen sex comedy, and I like those numbers, so I can't complain too much. But considering how gorgeous the cast is, it's really a missed opportunity that this thing didn't nail the humor or originality as well as Matthew Modine nailed Phoebe.